When you see them walking down the aisle, what do you think you're going to feel? Of course, joy, because the last time we were at Westminster Abbey, my heart sank when I saw those two boys walking behind the coffin. Some friendships are the kind you wouldn't expect, and that's exactly how the bond between Elton John and Princess Diana can be described. Their relationship weathered decades of misunderstandings and difficulties, but their closeness remained unshaken. While Diana rarely spoke about her friendship with Elton, he always praised her. Recently, however, he shared some lesser-known facts about the late princess that no one could have imagined. From her wit to her warmth, Elton's revelations shed light on sides of Diana that we never knew. So, what exactly did Elton John say about Princess Diana? Stay with us to discover all the details. Their friendship dates back to as early as 1981, and it was instant friendship at first sight for both of them. They met at Prince Andrew's birthday party at Windsor Castle. I think you played at Prince Andrew's 21st birthday? He asked. Yes, at Windsor Castle, Elton replied. Their meeting was so memorable that night, they danced the Charleston for 20 minutes straight, without getting tired. That's how their relationship was always filled with adventures. But, like any human connection, theirs was not without its complications and drama. How did Elton become close with the royals? In fact, Elton John had been friends with the royal family since the 1970s. Princess Margaret and the Queen Mother were huge fans of Elton's music, and according to the Press Association, the Queen Mother was even said to have danced to his music. Yes, they were that close, and Elton was invited to art events with Princess Margaret and was a regular at Charles's Prince's Trust annual concerts. At the particular event where Elton and Diana met, he had been asked to perform with percussionist Ray Cooper. When he arrived, he found a quiet disco in the ballroom, and before he knew it, he was dancing with Princess Anne and Queen Elizabeth II, who clutched her handbag as they all grooved to Bill Haley's Rock Around the Clock. Later, in his autobiography, Elton wrote that he tried his best to maintain an expression that suggested this was a perfectly normal situation. But everything changed when Princess Diana showed up. Elton John wrote that she was blessed with an incredible social ease and had the ability to make people feel completely comfortable in her company. I haven't met many people in my life who have that ability, he said. She could walk into a room full of people and make them feel like everything was great. That night, in 1981, when she arrived at the ballroom, they immediately clicked. They started pretending to dance the Charleston, mocking the weakness of the disco, and from that moment, a bond was formed between Elton John and Princess Diana, one that would carry them through the highs of their careers and the tragedies of their friendship circles. Elton later wrote that, over the years, she was fabulous company, the best dinner party guest, incredibly indiscreet, and a real gossip. He mentioned that you could ask her anything, and she would tell you. But Diana wasn't the only royal Elton danced with that evening. He recalled how Princess Anne came up to him and asked if he would like to dance, and he couldn't refuse. They went to a disco where the music was so quiet that it was almost inaudible. While they were bobbing up and down, the Queen approached with an inquiry and asked if they minded if they joined them. At that moment, the music changed to Rock Around the Clock, and Elton found himself dancing to it with the Queen of England. In a recent interview, Elton recalled meeting a young Prince Harry at Kensington Palace. He shared that he first met an extremely shy and sweet Prince Harry at a private lunch hosted by Princess Diana for Gianni Versace, and him many years ago. Elton expressed the joy of watching the young boy grow up to inherit his mother's warmth, sense of humor, and courage to champion the causes he truly believes in. Over the years of their friendship, the famous friends were often spotted together at major events, such as chatting backstage at the 1985 Live Aid concert and Elton performing for Diana at a 1997 concert for the Prince's Trust. However, it was behind closed doors that their bond truly deepened. Elton recalled a dinner party he had hosted with Richard Gere and Sylvester Stallone as guests, along with a very single Princess Diana. He described the scene when Richard Gere and Diana seemed immediately drawn to each other, and sat in front of the fireplace, engaged in an intense conversation. But soon, Elton noticed something strange in the room. He observed that Stallone seemed increasingly uncomfortable, shooting angry glances at the pair. Elton said the tension was palpable, and before long, a fight almost broke out between the two movie stars. Stallone, visibly irritated, eventually left in a huff, and throughout the chaos, Diana remained calm and composed. Elton remarked that Diana either didn't realize what was happening or perhaps was so accustomed to such situations that it didn't faze her. This moment made him realize the extraordinary effect Diana had on people, particularly men. He recalled being surprised at how men would seemingly lose their composure in her presence. Elton noted that it wasn't just her beauty, but there was an intangible quality she possessed that left men utterly captivated. Despite her allure, Elton recognized that Diana's true power lay in her humanity. He pointed to the famous photograph of Diana holding an AIDS patient's hand at the London Middlesex Hospital, noting how it was a subtle yet powerful statement that changed public attitudes towards AIDS. He believed that Diana wasn't necessarily trying to make a political statement, but her simple act of kindness shifted perceptions on a global scale. Elton John's connection to Princess Diana is a story of lasting friendship, profound emotions, and music that continues to resonate with millions worldwide. His performance at her funeral is one of the most unforgettable moments in history, especially when he performed Candle in the Wind, a reimagined version of his original song, specifically written for Diana. However, what many do not know is that the royal family initially opposed Elton's participation. The royal family was concerned that such a performance might be too emotional, and even a saxophonist was on standby in case the tribute was vetoed. Documents recently revealed by the National Archives of the United Kingdom show that Buckingham Palace had deep reservations about Elton's tribute to the late princess. Their fear was that the performance might be deemed too sentimental for the occasion. The opposition was so intense that a backup musician was prepared to replace Elton if necessary. Despite the royal household's concerns, Reverend Dr. Wesley Carr, who was leading the ceremony at Westminster Abbey, passionately supported Elton's performance, arguing that it would not only be an important moment in the service, but also a deeply fitting tribute to Diana, whose popularity was vast and whose death left the world mourning. The Reverend's strong stance in support of Elton's performance ultimately won out. He made the case that Elton's music was well loved by millions, and his version of Candle in the Wind, which had been rewritten in Diana's honor, would be a fitting tribute to her life and legacy. This performance, in turn, became one of the most powerful and poignant moments in the history of royal ceremonies. While Elton John's musical career and accomplishments are globally recognized, it's important to consider the man behind the music and his remarkable journey. Sir Elton Hercules John, born Reginald Kenneth Dwight on March 25, 1947, in Pinner, Middlesex, grew up as the eldest child of Stanley Dwight and Sheila Eileen. His early years were marked by both musical influences and personal challenges. Raised in a council house by his maternal grandparents, Elton's early exposure to music came through his parents' love for records, and soon after, he started playing his grandmother's piano. Elton's natural musical talent was evident from a young age. By the time he was 11, he had already won a junior scholarship to the Royal Academy of Music. He spent the next 5 years attending Saturday classes at the Academy and studied classical music, though he would often skip classes to explore London on his own. Despite his rebellious tendencies, Elton's talent was undeniable, and he soon started composing his own melodies and performing at local functions. However, it wasn't until he met Bernie Taupin in 1967 that his career truly began to take shape. The two formed a songwriting partnership that would span decades. Over the next 2 years, they wrote songs for other artists, and in 1969, Elton released his debut album Empty Sky. By the early 1970s, Elton had formed the Elton John Band and released his first hit single, Your Song. His success rapidly grew throughout the 70s, with albums like Honky Chateau and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road becoming international chart toppers. The 1980s and 90s saw Elton continue his success, with numerous hit singles and albums. He also made significant contributions to the world of film and theater, composing music for the Disney animated classic The Lion King, and later for Ada and Billy Elliot, the musical. By the 21st century, Elton had established himself not only as a musician but also as a philanthropist, founding the Elton John AIDS Foundation in 1992. The foundation has raised over £300 million, continuing Elton's legacy of fighting for AIDS awareness and support. Elton's career accomplishments are staggering. He has more than 50 top 40 hits on both the UK singles chart and the US Billboard Hot 100. His tribute single to Princess Diana, Candle in the Wind, became the best-selling single of all time, selling more than 33 million copies worldwide. With 7 consecutive #1 albums in the US and over 300 million records sold, Elton is one of the best-selling music artists of all time. His accolades include 5 Grammy Awards, 2 Academy Awards, a Tony Award, and many others, cementing his status as a true legend in the music industry. His life was also the subject of the 2019 biopic Rocketman, which dramatized his rise to fame and personal struggles, with actor Taron Egerton portraying him. Despite his success, Elton has always remained deeply committed to his charity work. His annual Academy Awards party, which began in the early 1990s, has become one of the most prestigious events during Oscar season, attracting the biggest names in Hollywood. In addition to his musical legacy, Elton's personal life has played a significant role in his public image. His friendship with Princess Diana, built on mutual respect and understanding, stood the test of time, especially in the wake of her tragic death. The bond they shared was special, and Elton's tribute to her was a reflection of his deep admiration and affection for her. As a mother, philanthropist, and icon, Diana left an indelible mark on the world, and Elton's tribute ensured that her legacy would live on for generations to come. Elton's continuing support for Princess Diana's sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, further highlights his commitment to honoring their mother's memory. Even years after Diana's passing, Elton's connection to her family remains strong. He has frequently spoken out in defense of Harry and William, especially regarding the intrusive behavior of the press, which he believes contributed to Diana's tragic death. In conclusion, Elton John's friendship with Princess Diana is a testament to the deep, often complex, relationships that shape a person's life. It was not just a celebrity friendship but one rooted in mutual respect, admiration, and shared values. Through his music, charity work, and ongoing tribute to Diana, Elton John has ensured that her legacy continues to impact the world in profound ways. From the powerful tribute at her funeral to his continued advocacy for AIDS awareness, Elton's influence transcends his music, making him a global icon whose contributions reach far beyond the world of entertainment.